Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking something that is fascinating, completely terrifying, and thankfully totally hypothetical. We're going to look at the ultimate sci-fi survival scenario and break down exactly how humanity would react to a zombie outbreak. We're talking the sociology, the logistics, and the sheer human resilience it would take if this absolute worst-case scenario became reality. So grab a seat and let's explore what would actually happen if the dead started to walk.
Okay, let's dive into this. What if you woke up tomorrow, grabbed your phone off the nightstand like any other normal morning, and realized the world as you know it was just gone? I mean, we've all seen the movies, right? We've read the comic books, but I want you to genuinely imagine how quickly your actual day-to-day reality would shatter. No more morning commutes, no more checking emails, no more just popping down to the grocery store for milk. In literally a matter of moments, every single priority you have would instantly shift from those everyday concerns to absolute primal survival.
Phase 1. Awakening to the nightmare.
Right off the bat, let's clearly define what we're actually talking about here. A zombie apocalypse is a fictional scenario where society completely collapses due to a rapidly spreading, reanimating virus. The really absolutely crucial words here are rapidly spreading and society collapses. To make this thought experiment work, we aren't talking about magic or supernatural curses. We're grounding this entirely in the concept of a highly contagious, aggressive pathogen, because it's the sheer speed of the spread that ultimately breaks our modern infrastructure, like a house of cards.
So how does the whole shebang actually kick off? Well, it starts with an unknown virus spreading rapidly. Because the infection vector is direct, specifically through bites or close physical contact, the transmission is violent and it is highly visible. It's a completely novel pathogen, which means medical professionals are going to be utterly baffled. And this leads straight into immediate global panic and confusion. Think about our highly connected digital age. Terrifying footage of these attacks would flood social media in minutes. It would literally be wedged right in your feed between cat videos and memes, long before authorities could even draft an official statement.
Phase 2. The first 24 hours.
Listen, when an outbreak hits, the transition from normalcy to total chaos doesn't take months or even weeks. It takes mere hours. At hour 1, your phone is going crazy. Push notifications, sirens, emergency broadcasts interrupting your streaming shows. By hour 12, as the reality sets in and the virus multiplies, cities become entirely chaotic. We are talking gridlocked highways, panic stampedes at supermarkets, and emergency rooms that are completely overwhelmed. By hour 24, the illusion of public order is just gone. Human focus entirely shifts to a desperate, uncoordinated search for safety. The systems designed to protect us simply buckle under the weight of universal panic.
Phase 3. The fall of society.
It is wild to think about how quickly our daily conveniences become deadly liabilities. Schools and businesses close immediately, and not just for safety, but because the workforce is either fleeing or already infected. Next, food and supplies vanish. Our modern world runs on these hyper-efficient, just-in-time supply chains. Grocery stores keep what? A few weeks of food? Actually, scratch that. It's more like 3 days worth in stock. Once the trucks stop rolling, the shelves are completely bare. Finally, transportation just breaks down. Gas stations run dry, roads are choked with abandoned cars, flights are permanently grounded. Boom, you are suddenly isolated exactly where you stand.
Now, obviously, authorities wouldn't just sit by, right? The government response would escalate extremely fast. Step 1. Enact drastic emergency measures. We're talking curfews, martial law, forced lockdowns. Step 2. They'd attempt to establish quarantine safe zones, trying to gather uninfected citizens into heavily guarded stadiums or military bases. And then Step 3. Full military deployment. But here's the catch. Fighting a highly contagious enemy that doesn't feel fear, doesn't sleep, and constantly turns your own fallen soldiers into new combatants? Yeah, traditional military tactics would become completely ineffective real fast.
Phase 4. Surviving the apocalypse.
Okay, so the new human survival protocol really relies on 3 concrete actions. First, building secure shelters. Your home isn't just a place to sleep anymore. It has to be fortified against relentless physical intrusion. Second, there's the constant, incredibly dangerous need to scavenge for clean food and water. But the third step is absolutely the most vital: working together. You know that lone wolf survivalist we always see in the movies? Yeah, that's a Hollywood myth that gets you killed. In reality, surviving pivots entirely away from individual panic and relies 100% on crucial group cooperation, sharing watch duties, medical knowledge, and resources. You literally cannot do it alone.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast, because in the crucible of this nightmare, amidst the relentless spread of infection, total societal collapse, and terrifying resource shortages, humanity would actually experience some surprising sociological advantages. Seriously, we would be forced to relearn practical survival skills we forgot generations ago. We'd forge significantly tighter-knit communities built on actual mutual trust, rather than just superficial ties. And we'd see unbelievable innovation under pressure. I'm talking rigging up solar panels, purifying water, and building communications networks entirely out of scrap. It's that classic human resilience.
Phase 5. Rebuilding a new world.
So let's look further down the timeline. The road to recovery is, well, it's a monumental task. Surviving scientists holed up in isolated, secure labs would tirelessly search for a cure or a vaccine to neutralize whatever threat is left. From there, the unimaginable physical labor actually begins, clearing and rebuilding safe zones within formerly overrun cities. But the most profound challenge? Creating a completely new society. Humanity wouldn't just be rebuilding brick-and-mortar structures, we'd be writing new laws, establishing new currencies, and deciding, fundamentally, what kind of civilization we actually want to be after losing absolutely everything.
Visually, the world would be completely unrecognizable. Just picture this. Abandoned cities entirely reclaimed by nature. Concrete roads cracked open by growing trees, massive skyscrapers completely covered in thick green vines. Wild animals just roaming through what used to be a bustling downtown intersection. And, nestled within these massive, quiet, green monuments to the past, small human communities would be quietly and diligently rebuilding civilization from the ground up, but this time, living in harmony with the overgrown world rather than trying to dominate it.
So, it all comes down to one crucial question. In a world reclaimed by nature, stripped of all our modern distractions and superficial divisions, would humanity merely scrape by just to survive? Or, faced with the ultimate shared threat, would we finally learn to truly work together? This whole thought experiment strips away the noise to reveal that ultimately our greatest defense isn't weapons or giant walls, it's each other. It kind of leaves you wondering, does it really take the end of the world to show us how to actually live in it? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.